Sunday paper with Greg and Mike. Sunday papers, yeah, it's what I...
All right, you're gonna clap. And my clap. 3, 2, 1. Such a professional clap. You can
read all about it. Read all about it. It's a sad, sad day in the Sunday papers.
Oh my God!
The tragedy, the unmitigated international despair.
You just said you weren't going to talk about it, and it's the first syllable. I love that. Yeah, you can't. Come on, you're known. Of all comedians, you're known to be like one of the guys most in the moment. You're going to be in the moment. You're going to address what's going on in the room.
Yep. I've got on my Snoopy hat as a shout out to my soon-to-be late dog, Brule, who we've had. He's 16 years old. We've had him for 13 years. We've talked about him on the podcast. He's a loving, caring, protective dog, but he's got temperamental issues.
All right, here's how we're going to do it, because you're mixed about this. I want to give the listeners a green light to laugh and almost celebrate Brule's death in wholesome ways. Also, he's going to a better place, and he's struggling, which we'll get into in a minute. So there's a lot of good without making light of it. But I think we can also. I'm the guy that might make more light of it than you. I want to take you off the hook for that because it's also very emotional.
It is very emotional. I didn't realize I would be this emotional about it, but yesterday, you saw me, I couldn't even play golf. I was so distractedly depressed, and I was depressed all day. And I realized, I know it's his time, but there's a certain amount of guilt that comes with putting a dog down where you feel like, literally I'm taking a life. And I'm the kind of guy that I throw spiders and mosquitoes outside. I don't kill them.
Well, you didn't have to choose strangling Brule with your hands. There's other, I know it's a Saturday, but you could probably pay extra to get a vet to come by and do it.
No, I choked him out so that I could drown him. I didn't. We had our next door neighbor, Dr. Michelle Jack, who's a lesbian veterinarian, who we've been friends with for 20 years.
That's on her card. Okay.
And she was supposed to do it, but then she couldn't. It was going to be nice because she was going to do it in the house. But now we couldn't find anybody who could do it in the house over the weekend.
Do it in your house?
Yeah, they come to your house.
Boy, is that going to show Hannah's the other dog?
Yes.
That'll teach Hannah to stay on the straight and narrow.
Right. We should wait until right after Hannah pees on the rug.
Yeah.
And then put Brule down in front of her.
If you pee one more time, we will kill Brule. Little blind bastard. I think that even that would get through to her.
She's the one that should be put down. Her time is not long on this planet. They both overstayed their welcomes. But she is also 16. She's blind. She's deaf. She has dementia. She pees on everything all the time. She'll walk up to a wall and then stare at it and bark at it for 15 minutes.
It's a little like when you used to rage. All right, hold on a minute. Detail how the groomer called you guys back about your two dogs.
Yeah, so 2 days ago, we brought the dogs to the groomers, and we figured this is, we're going to put Brule down. We want to make him look nice for the ceremony.
I didn't know that was the reason. All right, I was going to say, what a waste of money. All right, go ahead.
So we took him to the groomer. We took the two of them to the groomer. And usually you drop them off, and then about 4 hours later they call you and they say the dogs are done. Come pick them up. This woman calls about 45 minutes later, and she goes, come pick up your dogs. And we're like, what happened? And she said, well, Brule bit the groomer twice, and Hannah has open pussing sores, and it's not hygienic for our workers to touch them. Come get your dogs.
I would have just been like, just hold them underwater. Can you hold? Oh, I will come pick them up, but can you please hold them underwater
Yeah,
first?
you have scissors, right? You guys have scissors?
Oh no. It's all about Hannah now.
Have you ever put a dog down?
I have not. I mean, Jeff did, my stepbrother. We grew up with a golden retriever. My dad was like Ellen. My dad would give dogs away. Now, I don't know if he killed them. Like, for instance, he had a Scottish Terrier, and he got it. I think it was the divorced dad with the kids. But my dad, as you know, was like never in his apartment when we weren't there. You know, like he was always working or out in New York City. And so it was too cruel for the dogs. But he claimed he gave it to his doorman who loved the dog. And then when we questioned him on that, he said, he gave it to his mom who lives in the Philippines. None of it's adding up now that I'm recounting it.
Yeah.
But we never saw the dog again. But anyway, Jeff put down our golden retriever that we did have its entire life. And I missed that. But Jeff picked me up at the train station at Brewster and goes, you want to hold Sedgy? Our dog was Sedgy. You want to hold Sedgy? And then he threw that box that you can kind of hear its teeth still hitting the metal of the box. And he threw that on my lap.
Well, Brule is famous for biting people. He has bit people his entire life. He should have been put down a long time ago. He bit Owen yesterday, and pretty bad, like deep bleeding. And whatever. I don't even want to get into the whole history of his biting, but so I'm thinking about
Tom O'Neill's been bitten.
Tom O'Neill's been bitten. Somebody recommended that I have him stuffed with his teeth, baring his teeth, and for Christmas give it to the kids in a box.
You're joking, right?
Is that too far?
No, that was me.
Oh, okay, that's great. That was a great joke.
Should I do it? Yes, I told you, in all seriousness, it would make the funniest, best gif. A ferocious dog that would go on some bookshelf somewhere. But even if it's just a joke gift, it's going to make Christmas.
Yeah. All right, I'm going to do it.
You should look into...
I wonder what that costs. Probably thousands of dollars.
No. It's probably high hundreds, right? Or 1,000, maybe 1,000. Okay. It's worth it. Oh my God, it's a legendary joke.
Yeah.
With its,
blood dripping down his mouth.
Well, they would do a wolf in like the museum, you know.
Yeah.
You have to look into that now. I don't know if they just need photos. Like, the whole fish thing. So I caught a fish in Cabo. Anyway, it's the one that's on my, in my garage because the family wouldn't have it. But anyway, when you stuff a fish, they don't need any part of it. They measure the fish and they know the exact, type of fish, and they just create it. I don't know what the deal is with animals. I don't know if they skin it and it's really his fur.
Yeah, that's what I'm wondering. Denman has just written that squirrels cost around $100.
Oh, well, this is not much bigger than a squirrel.
Yeah.
But I wonder if a squirrel's like a fish where they don't really need the exact squirrel because very few people have a squirrel as a pet, so they just make squirrels.
Yeah.
Where I don't know if it's like they have Shih Tzus or whatever the hell Brule is.
Can you imagine the looks on their faces when they open that box on Christmas Day?
I can just see JoJo laughing for 2 days straight.
Yeah.
Yeah. Speaking of gifts for JoJo.
Happy birthday, JoJo.
Look at that.
My little girl is turning 19 years old today. Your girl just turned 19, right?
Yeah, yep, in May, late May.
Yeah, so I asked her what she wanted for her birthday, and she said she wanted her car detailed.
Oh, wow.
Which is interesting because I checked at the car wash, $260 for like to shampoo it and do all that stuff.
There's different levels of detailing.
Yeah, I think we're going to go with a lower level of detailing than that. I got to save money for this dog stuffing.
Meanwhile, now with everything, like that sounded outrageously expensive to me. that's a dinner for two in LA at a nice place now. And not even with a bottle of wine. Like, let's say you get,
it's not that expensive.
if you get, or how about this? You ready? You get a drink each, and then you get a glass of wine each.
Yeah.
That is $100.
Yeah, that's true. Yep.
It's just a fact. They now are taking advantage. It's honestly right around $20 a drink in fucking Los Angeles.
I know, and I feel bad because my son's 21 and he wants to start going to bars, and then he'll come home and he'll be like, Dad, I went out, I bought me and my two friends a drink, and it was $50. Like, that's not affordable for a 21-year-old kid. That's a day's work for a 21-year-old kid.
They're just taking advantage, kind of like the gas prices, of this, inflation. But it's also what they can get. It's everything is what they can get away with.
Yeah, I know. I went to the gas station last night. It was $6 and it said $6.30 a gallon. But then when I was pumping it, it said $6.50, and I looked at the sign. Did you realize it's 20 cents more to pay with a credit card than to pay cash at a gas station?
I didn't know that.
The one on Bundy and National.
Oh, wow.
Not going there anymore.
Oh, that's a pretty fancy gas. They have that high octane gas there.
Oh, do they?
Yeah, and one of the reasons is, all these how can I say
Ferraris
it?
And stuff.
Well, the douchebags who keep their high performance cars in hangars at Santa Monica Airport.
Oh, okay.
And they go there. One of them is Jerry Seinfeld, and they fill up, and then they go, quote, buzz the canyons in Malibu and do their whole, weekend ritual of that stuff.
That'd be fun.
Yes, sure.
Being a douchebag is fun. And we're going to talk about George Carlin later and his take on golf courses.
Oh,
But,
my God.
But
that was damning.
I know. I felt really, we'll get into it later. But there's so many things that you can, and I teased you last week about the wide world of white that you're living. But they are the most fun things to do.
Yeah.
All right. What else? Everyone has COVID. Every human being that I know has COVID right now.
I think I called
just
it.
got over it.
Oh, he did?
We had a TV. We were pitching a TV show. We had to cancel the meeting because he had COVID.
Oh, my God. Zoom it.
It was supposed to be Zoom, and he still canceled it. So
oh, my God. Is he still alive?
My nephews are visiting. One of them has COVID. I got my cousin. So many people have COVID. It's ridiculous.
The new strain is the most contagious one by far, they say.
Yeah.
Number 5 or whatever it is, BA5. Anyway, I called it, in addition to a bazillion scientists out there, but I think COVID might wipe out humans.
Well, I don't know what the fatality rate of this new strain. It doesn't seem to be as lethal, but at the same time, we also don't know what the long haul effects might be.
Yeah. Viruses get less lethal as they go on because that's part of their survival, built-in sort of programming. Also, the really deadly ones kill their hosts, and so there's less spread of them. But I don't know. It could be one little variant, and it's like, oh, this variant, it's not deadly at all, but women can't have children after it. That's all it takes.
Handmaid's Tale.
Is that what happened?
Yeah.
Same with Children of Men. I don't know how it happened, but that was the scenario that you were dropped into. Oh, my God, Children of Men, so good.
Children
Watch
of
that,
Men
people.
Is fucking crazy good.
Watch that if you need something to watch. Okay, so I know we talk about this entertainment. I started watching 3rd season of Atlanta. It's the best show on television.
All right, save it for entertainment. What are you doing? You don't jump around in the newspaper.
Oh, I'm sorry. And we never jump around. You're right. Sorry, my bad.
Shout out to Lawrence Tarpey, who did this week's logo. It is a homage to, I believe it's the homage to Goodfellas. Is that where they kill the guy in the trunk? But he's got a flashlight in his hand, it looks like, instead of a gun.
I mean, it is definitely a body in the trunk, which I used to have that. You remember I had that license plate on my big Cadillac, BDYNTRNK. But is that the car that it was? That looks a little older than the one in Goodfellas.
Yeah, it does.
Is
All
that
right.
I don't know what it is.
All right, Lawrence, send us in some clarification on where that's from. The song came from James Enrique, and it is music that made me feel weird to my core, almost like I was watching scat porn or something. Which is the highest praise, James.
That's your example?
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Scat porn is fecal matter, right?
Scat, yeah, scatological.
Yeah. Have you ever watched scat porn?
No.
You've seen Two Girls, One Cup.
Oh, yes. And
Then
I
you've
put
seen
it
scat porn.
I put it in a pilot.
No, you didn't.
All right. Tosh.0, they gave us $5,000 to make a pilot. It's a whole thing. Anyway, we put together Daniel didn't know anything about the internet at the time. I was obsessed with YouTube. Anyway, we put together a good thing, and they made us do it live, a live presentation. By the time, and this is the end of the story, by the time we got it in a good place, I was like, fuck Comedy Central. And what I want to do is be like, here's your $5,000 back. Here's $6,000 back. I'll pay you interest. We actually have a show that someone should take a chance on, and you did not. And when, of course, we couldn't do that, I was like, well, this is what we're going to do. The biggest thing online at that point, that a lot of people loved, were reaction videos to Two Girls, One Cup. They were all over YouTube. Right. You never saw the content. You saw people's reactions, and like they would freak out. And famous people did it. Sports teams did it, and you can still find them. They're so fucking funny. People throw up watching it. So what we did is we were going to shoot our reaction, and so we put it on we turned the cameras on the executives, and I showed every executive at Comedy Central Two Girls, One Cup, and I filmed them.
I love it.
Fuck them. Fuck them. Turns out they loved it too.
See? Executives are just self-hating scat fans. Corrections from last week. BC says that True Romance was the movie you guys were thinking of that describes the Italians in proper light. Okay.
In proper light.
And then this one comes from Manalo Matos. I like how Greg makes fun of Mike for the Peloton bike story, but 15 minutes later, he discusses the golfing and hitting the wrong ball. You both are white guys and can't deny it.
So is your pronunciation of Manalo. It's probably Manolo. Yeah. All right. He has an additional thing here.
He also says a pill preventing implantation of a fertilized egg is an abortion pill. A pill preventing the follicle from releasing the egg in the ovaries and not allowing it to be fertilized is not, because there isn't a zygote fertilized egg. Big difference, even though abortion should be safe and legal all the way for whatever reason. Okay.
All right.
And an additional note on Ricky Martin. As you were recording the episode, there were news that his nephew, 20 years old, had filed a restraining order against him. Apparently, they had a relationship. Ricky's married to someone else, by the way. A few hours later, the news broke. The nephew retracted and removed the restraining order. So Ricky is having sex with his nephew? Is that what this is alleging?
His nephew Manolo? Yes. I think we got the source right here.
Damn. If I was having sex with Ricky Martin, I'd be telling people on podcasts too.
That makes sense, because they're going to try to get the threat is to get his dirty laundry out there. We covered that story last week. So I bet Ricky and his people paid that kid immediately to back up off of that.
Well, listen, there is no Vita that's more loco than having sex with your own nephew. Bob Patterson, check the pronunciation. You blew it, huh?
I don't know.
Also, Gibbons thinks conflating means something else. Abortion and the morning after pill are two different things. Right.
You know what? Sometimes I might misuse conflating, but I was talking about the two pills, and I actually think I was conflating, attributing some of the qualities of one to the other. Anyway.
Also, somebody sends you an email about Joey Pants and the spelling of his name. You try to correct him that his name ends with an E and not an O because he was on my podcast. It's Pantoliano.
Manolo.
You big jackass. Okay. I got some tour dates just announcing for the very first time Some tour dates coming up starting next month. Jonathan's in Agunquit, Maine on August 11th. That's going to be fucking nice. And then the next 2 nights, I'll be in Manchester, New Hampshire at Chunky's Cinema Pub. I got to get a new agent.
No, that's the greatest name ever. Imagine naming a pub that serves food, presumably, Chunky's in Los Angeles. There wouldn't be a soul in there.
Yeah. And then I'll be at the Grove in Lowell, Arizona, September 16th and 17th. The Howlin' Wolf in New Orleans. This is rescheduled on October 6th.
Howlin' Wolf is very cool, man.
It's a very cool club.
It's in the Warehouse District. I saw Better Than Ezra there. Are you kidding me? When they were the top band,
dude. Let's get a trip. Let's get a trip going. Let's get 5 or 6 guys and go to fucking New Orleans.
October 6th might be cool enough temperature-wise and not humid where you want to kill yourself. All right.
And then October 7th, I'll be in Lafayette, Louisiana at Club 337. All tickets at fitzdog.com. Let's talk a little bit about the security on your computer. When you use your bathroom, do you always close the door behind you? Yes, you do.
Nope.
You don't want random people looking at you taking a dump. So why would you let people look in on you when you go online? Using the internet without ExpressVPN is like going to the bathroom and not closing the door. Your internet service provider knows every single website you visit, right? And what's worse is they sell this information to ad companies. ExpressVPN puts a stop to this. It creates a secure encrypted tunnel between your device and the internet so your online activity can't be seen by anyone. I have ExpressVPN. I've had it for like 3 years. It makes me sleep at night. I have it on my computer. I have it on my phone. It turns on automatically when I turn my shit on. I don't even know it's there. The other great thing is if you are checking for airline prices and you have ExpressVPN, it doesn't track you. If otherwise, it will jack up the prices on you as you search. Hotels.com, same thing. But if you do it through an encrypted device, you can check all you want and it never affects the prices.
Listen, when you're going to be Googling how to stuff brulee, you don't want them to jack up the prices on that.
That's right. If you're trying to look up how to show scat porn to network executives, come on. Listen, the best part is it's very easy. You just click one button and you're protected. It's the #1 rated VPN by Mashable, The Verge, and countless others. So if you're like me and believe your online activity is your business, secure yourself by visiting expressvpn.com/papers today. Use my exclusive link, expressvpn.com/papers, and you can get an extra 3 months free. That's expressvpn.com/papers.
Love it. Next sponsor. What is it? Audible?
Oh, yeah. We love Audible.
We truly do. So I just listened to a book in my travels to New York and back, and I don't want to talk about it. But it was a guy in country music read his own book. Very typical of a country guy. It was a laconic, slow read. I 1.4 times that. It was perfect. And I got through it faster. 1.4 times speed. You know, other places, I think, like with podcasts, you can speed it up to like 1.5, 2, whatever. This is right down to the, I know it's a weird thing to love about Audible, but it just adds to it.
No,
Loved
I slow mine down because I use Audible to go to sleep every night. I pick the slowest. I just finished Grover Cleveland's biography, and I put it at 3/4 speed.
He
and
was president. Did you make him sound drunk?
God. He wasn't a drunk. He was a
no.
fat man.
I mean, you make the reader sound drunk.
Yeah, totally. Yeah.
Like a drunk. So it's like a drunk man's whispering in your ear as you go to sleep.
Which, by the way, you can hire now on TaskRabbit.
that someone to cradle you and just everything. It wasn't your fault. It wasn't your fault. That's all they whisper as you drift off to sleep. Okay, back to Audible. Audible offers an incredible selection of audiobooks across every genre, from bestsellers and new releases to celebrity memoirs. I mean, if you haven't listened to Norm Macdonald read his book yet, what are you doing?
Yeah.
There's mysteries, thrillers, motivation, of course, wellness, business, and more. I listen to books about procrastination instead of working. And that works for me.
There you go.
Yeah, it's perfect. You'll discover exclusive Audible originals from top celebrities, renowned experts, and exciting new voices and audio. As an Audible member, you can choose one title a month and keep from their entire catalog, including the latest bestsellers and new releases. All Audible members get access to a growing selection of audiobooks, Audible originals, and podcasts that are included with membership. You can listen to all you want and more get added every month. You listen to it before you go to bed. I tend to listen to it in the car, and then when I remember, I'll put it on in the house. Like if I have to do whatever, tasks, basically house stuff, if I have to clean the kitchen, all this, that's the best because it just flies by. So let Audible help you discover new ways to laugh, be inspired, or be entertained. New members can try it for free for 30 days. Visit audible.com/papers or text papers to 500-500. That's 500-500. That's audible.com/papers or text papers to 500-500 to try Audible free for 30 days. Audible.com/papers.
Oh my God, I just farted like 10 seconds ago, and it is the most pungent. You ever just enjoy your own fart?
Sorry, Audible, for that. Okay. We could have put a little more breathing room, so to speak, between the two.
Yeah.
Yes, of course you do. You're like, look how powerful I am in the car.
It feels powerful, and it just feels like it's mine. That's the thing about farting. It just feels so personal.
Huh.
I wish we could do an ad for farts.
You just did it.
If you want to listen to Audible.com, the best way to do it is with some Raycon wireless earbuds. Oh boy, I use my Raycons when I work out. They stay right in my ear really nicely. I can take phone calls on them. I can pause them. I can They have a setting where you can hear people. You can make it like quieter or louder, depending on how much you want to hear outside of your earbuds. So they look, feel, and sound better than ever. They've got optimized tips. They will not budge. Trust me. Raycons, they offer 3 sound profiles to match what you're listening to, plus a noise isolation and awareness mode, so you can choose to be immersed in sound or be able to hear your surrounding when you do. So I love them for walking the dog in the morning. I listen to the daily, and I put it on the setting where I can hear other people because I bump into neighbors, and then I can actually talk to them without taking them out. And then I put them on the other setting for the gym because I don't want to hear the noise of the gym. I just want to hear my music. You get 8 hours of playtime and a 32-hour battery life. When you need to charge, it's super easy. You can even do it wirelessly. And this is a huge selling point. With Raycons, you get the same quality audio as other premium audio brands at half the price. Yes, seriously. And that doesn't mean they won't last. I've seen people talking about the Raycons falling 3 stories, getting lost in rain and snowstorms, and still working afterwards. It's no wonder Raycon's everyday earbuds have over 49,000 5-star reviews. Check out Raycon's wireless earbuds. My guess is that you're going to want to leave them a 5-star review as well. Go to buyraycon.com/papers today and get 15% off your Raycon order. That's buyraycon, RACON.com/papers to score 15% off. Buyraycon.com/papers. Speaking of papers,
you're going to want to put noise isolation on those things when you're walking just Hannah, because you're going to get a lot of questions and you don't want to hear them.
And the whining of Hannah, who misses her husband. Let's get to the front page.
You saved Hannah from an abusive relationship.
Extra! Extra! Read all about it! Extra!
I know.
All right, here we go. Headline this week was more U.S. children become. You're frozen forever.
Let's skip this one.
Why?
Oh, no, sorry. Go ahead. Do it.
But you were frozen. All right, so you've promised. Do you want to make a promise to people that you are going to buy new Wi-Fi?
Yes, I'm going to get Wi-Fi in my office because currently I hijack it from my next-door neighbor.
You
And
do
sometimes
three
I freeze.
podcasts. You do 3 podcasts where you need video streaming to be flawless, and you still are scamming in or whatever it is, piggybacking, whatever it is, on your neighbor. Does he know you're doing it?
Just kidding. Yes, he gave me the code. He gave me the passcode. He's fine with it.
All right, whatever. Chris is saying you need a wired connection.
Into what? A computer that has no inputs? These new Apple computers fucking suck. You can't plug anything into them.
You should see me. It's like which headphones. I'm on a plane, and if I want to watch something on my phone I've downloaded, I need the Apple jack, which is the flat thing that goes in the bottom, whatever the hell that's called. And then, of course, the rest of the world is still using the 3.5 millimeter, plug headphone thing.
Right.
Apple, this just, they're going to change
sucks.
it. I
Apple
know.
Sucks.
Here we go. More U.S. children becoming obese at younger ages was the headline. Quote, the worrying data indicate that the childhood obesity, Jesus, let me do this again. The worrying data indicate that the childhood obesity epidemic in the United States continues to grow and get more serious. So I paused there because did they have to put continues to grow?
Yeah.
Is
right.
the problem getting bigger? Is it huge? This is heavy stuff, man.
It is amazing. Like, it's the only thing we're making progress in the United States. The only forward motion is the size of our children.
It goes on to say currently around 40% of high school students can be classified as having had obesity or being overweight in their primary school years. So 40%, but have more students gotten fatter or just have the fat ones grown so now they're 40% of the mass of the student body? You know what I mean? Like, how are they measuring this? Maybe it isn't more kids getting fat. Maybe it's just the fat ones are so much fatter that they're up to 40%. Researchers assessed trends among kindergartners starting school in 1998 compared to 2010. Obesity was defined as having a body mass index above the 95th percentile, and definitions were tailored to different age groups. Well, they knew there were a problem with these kindergartners when the Duck Duck Goose became a menu item rather than a game.
Hey now!
Wait a minute.
Mike Gibbons!
Also, the game changed to Duck Duck. Oh my God, I got to sit down. I'm lightheaded. Imagine these fat little bastards running around in a tight circle like crazy. Do you remember how fast you'd run around that?
Dude.
Duck Duck Goose was fierce.
You had to lean. You leaned to your left because you were running so fast. Yeah. Now these kids,
God.
They can't even get up. You just you tap the fat kid, and then you just walk. You just walk around while he has an asthma attack and fumbles around like he's on ice.
Yeah. I also have my dumb old joke that I used to do that the obesity epidemic among our youth is leading to teen walkaways because they can no longer run away. Yes. Gold. That joke had to be explained every time I did it.
Yeah, I expect to see the Duck Duck Goose one the next time you do stand-up.
What else here? Analysis also showed that throughout this window, the risk of undeserved and economically disadvantaged children developing obesity rose by 15%. It should be noted none of the kids could fit through this window.
Hey. Shouldn't poor kids be getting skinnier? That's how you know you live in a rich country, when the poor kids are fatter than the rich kids.
Right. It is, listen, not to get serious, but it is like they do studies. I remember one was like Oakland and all this where it was like you couldn't get a vegetable. It was like over a mile, and that's in a city.
It's so sad.
But there was like 8 liquor stores.
Yeah, right.
And, all the Cheetos you want. Anyway. All right. Moving on to lighter.
If you could just get some kale in a pawn shop, we'd be all set.
Moving on to lighter fare.
As missing warning signs pile up in investigations of mass killings, New York State is rolling out a novel strategy to screen applicants for gun permits. People seeking to carry concealed handguns will be required to hand over their social media accounts for a review of their, quote, character and conduct.
Of course. Jobs do it. You apply for a job, they're going to check out your social media.
It's an approach applauded by many Democrats and national gun control advocacy groups, but some experts have raised questions about how the law will be enforced and address free speech concerns. Yeah, here's some red flags that they're going to look for. Relationship status, going from dating to single.
Yeah.
Posting a trailer for a new John Wick movie. Anyone following Alex Jones.
Our friend Tom O'Neill is never going to get a gun. Also, after you post your glee at Killing Brûlée, they are going to definitely require a cool-down period for you.
Yeah, right. Anybody that's been bitten by a dog and they post about it can't get a gun.
Anyone who stuffs their dog in a violent pose, maybe they're going to pause on you.
Yeah. You don't have a gun, do you?
Nope, I have a BB gun. It's down in storage, though. I bought it from my mom. She complained about crows so much where she used to live that I bought it for her for Christmas.
Did you shoot any crows?
She definitely did not. I think I might have tried, but crows are vindictive, man. They'll hit back. So
really?
That's what they say. That crows actually have that ability. They're smart enough to be vindictive and
Damn.
and then to do nasty stuff. Yeah.
I've never shot and killed an animal.
Oh, when I was little, we had a BB gun up in Carmel. My stepbrother Jeff. These birds would come. Oh, it's so stupid. To a bird feeder, which was out in the back, and this cute little bird, and we lined it up. And part of it was, what are the odds you can hit this little bird or whatever? So you see where this is going. So all of a sudden, I had it in the sights, and it wasn't that far away. It was on the end of the gun. No, it wasn't that far away, and I was like, I can't do it. And Jeff goes, you pussy. I'm like, all right, I'll do it. I shot it right in the head, first shot. And then Jeff goes, I can't believe you just killed that little bird. But he wasn't even joking. He was like, oh my God, because it was this, it hit the thing. It took the little bird right out. It was shocking. I hit it. And he immediately, legitimately, honestly was like, I can't believe you put out a bird feeder and then you're killing the little bird.
That's like that Johnny Cash song about the boy who's got a rifle and he's just playing around and he shoots a guy.
Do you know who wrote that song?
Who?
You'll never guess. Sting.
No.
Yep.
Really?
Yeah.
I thought that was an old Johnny Cash song.
No, it was in this latest crop of songs. I hung my head.
Yeah,
I hung my head. And then he's in trial and stuff.
Yeah.
It's amazing that Sting wrote that song.
Damn.
Yeah. Of course, it's Sting's. Well, what's his name? What's his real name? That's what it's listed as, the writer. I guess maybe all the Sting songs are written by Declan or whatever the hell his real name is, whatever British name he has.
The Wisconsin Supreme Court ruled that a transgender woman cannot change her name because she's on the state's sex offender registry, and the law does not allow people on the registry to change their names. The woman, identified in court documents only as Ella, was required to register as a sex offender after being convicted of sexually molesting a disabled 14-year-old boy when she was 15. She's now 22. According to court records, Ella was a 6'5" and more than 300 pounds at the time of the assault.
Big gal.
The victim was 110 pounds, blind in one eye, and autistic. After the assault, Ella taunted the victim on Facebook and told other students what happened, perpetuating the victimization and trauma, the court said.
Mean Girls.
Ella, really? Ella entered the criminal justice system identifying as male and was ordered to register as a sex offender for 15 years. I think that women, as a group, tried to block this trade. We don't want her. You guys keep her. Until she gets out and the Olympics start, then Ella's going to be throwing that shot put like a beast. We got her for the Olympics.
You know, the story didn't detail that he was wheelchair bound at the time of the attack. Maybe she crushed him during the assault.
Oh.
Did she put him in the wheelchair? Also, if she began her transformation back then, pretty easy to catch. Like the police would be like, we have a description. The assailant is 6'5", 300 pounds with a janky wig, awful makeup, and limps with very tight high heel shoes. We got her. We saw her. She was across town. But isn't this the old trick to get into women's prison?
Yeah, we talked about this a couple weeks ago. It was that I mean, there's a guy that knocked up like 6 women in the prison that I'm sorry, I'm not a guy. I just named a woman who knocked up a bunch of women because she identifies as a woman but maintains the original equipment.
I told you we brought that up, and then the next week I saw Chappelle do it on stage.
Yeah, of course. He listens to Sunday papers.
Yes, we're accusing Chappelle of stealing our material. But yeah, this is they should not. This person, I'd like to say, although I'll probably get canceled, I don't think they should go to women's prison. This 6'5", 300-pound vicious person.
I think this person needs to be in solitary, so it doesn't matter if it's a men's or a women's prison. This person is a sick motherfucker, and I know they'll do a documentary about her, and she'll end up getting a book deal and making millions of dollars because she's a fucking lunatic.
Well, that's a nice thing the prisons can say. Like, listen, you are going to be so happy and you're going to feel incredibly respected. We have unisex solitary confinement cells. Yeah. So, I mean, it's perfect.
Yeah.
Hard to be offended in there.
An 86-year-old woman has been recognized by Guinness for being the world's longest-serving flight attendant. Bette Nash has been a flight attendant for nearly 65 years and currently serves with American Airlines. Nash recalls that it was just $12 for a one-way airline ticket, and passengers would pay the flight attendants as they boarded. Passengers were also able to purchase life insurance from a vending machine upon arrival and would receive cigarettes and matches after the onboard food service. Anybody who knows that should be retired at this point.
Well, you get the cigarette after you have sex in the bathroom with Betty, the flight attendant.
Who, by the way, had to be single. They had to be single. They had to be a certain height and a weight, and they would weigh you in on every flight. If you gained a few pounds, you would be taken off the payroll. It says she has no plans of retiring yet. Do we need a flight attendant who wouldn't be qualified to sit in an exit row?
This is what we do know. Betty is still making the weight cut. Or no, I guess they got rid of the weight cut. But I'd like to think she's still keeping it tight.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, Betty's got it tight. I saw a picture of her. She's adorable.
Oh, well, listen, the airline weighs my bags. Why not weigh these old bags? It's just a matter of, it's science. I mean, the plane has to fly. They have to know how much it weighs.
Right. Well, she flies for America. Remind me to avoid American Airlines. Can I get another steaming hot cup of coffee? Not in my lap this time.
Oh, thanks, Betty. I'll have my coffee stirred, not shaken, not shaken. By the way, the new hot flight attendants, I think you can agree, they're all men. All of them fit as hell, looking sharp. They'd welcome a weigh-in. They don't want any big flight attendants on the crew.
Yeah, they'd love it.
Yeah. They look fabulous.
They do look good. You don't see overweight male flight attendants. They take really good care of themselves.
No, and the arms are grabbing the biceps, and like they look almost military like in the way they wear the uniform. I like it.
Don't ask, don't tell.
I don't mind. Make them all gay. I love it. Well, you can't make them gay. Just hire gay ones. Go ahead.
Good news for Gibbons.
You got it.
Well, I guess I got to cut Dennis Gibbons a break. Last week, I gave him shit because he charged me a stroke penalty when we were playing a match because I accidentally hit somebody else's ball. And then Daniel Whittier wrote in, he gave you a break. It's a 2-stroke penalty.
Uh-oh. Well, Dennis might be listening to this, but he listened last week because on the golf course, I want to say cornered me. You were on the other side, and he couldn't believe you balked or protested the penalty thing.
Yeah.
And he went on about it, and something, I forget what, he had some explanation about it. Anyway.
Which, by the way, we should commemorate on Sunday Papers. Mike Gibbons, who started playing golf a year and 3 months ago, shot even par on Penmar.
Not
yesterday.
According to Dennis.
Well, Dennis said you were one over because you lost a ball? So,
here's golf talk. White, sliced the ball.
Wide world of white with Mike.
Sliced the ball and then ran out of time looking for it and then hit one. And then right near where I dropped the ball and hit it, I found my ball. So it was a 1-stroke penalty, and I took it.
Did you then
it.
play the original ball?
No, I picked it up.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I had already hit it, and we were behind, and we were slow. The people were behind us. I felt pressure.
Might be because one of the guys we play with, Mikey Fitzgibbons, has OCD. It's like watching Ed Norton play golf. He has all these twitches and tics and stretches and yoga poses and breathing exercises. It's like a minute and a half every time he
thinks
steps
a
up
lot.
to the ball.
He thinks a lot. Yes.
Which would be fine if he didn't also. He's always the last guy to hit, and when it's his turn, he's not ready. He's over talking.
He also, in the middle of a lot of fidgeting and in the middle of a lot of knee bends, all of a sudden be like, "Hey, wait, did you see the game the other?" He interrupts himself listen, nicest guy in the world, of course.
And then if he doesn't hit a good shot, immediately indulges himself in hitting a second ball, which none of us do. Nobody hits a second ball.
It's like he has a hole in his pocket that he can just drop a ball out of it. It's on the floor before his follow through is done.
Yeah.
Golf talk.
Let's do some entertainment.
You got it.
Signing a yearbook is usually a heartwarming end-of-year tradition among friends and classmates, but not for 12-year-old Brody Ritter. His classmates refused to sign his yearbook, leaving him with only 4 signatures, 2 of which were made by his teachers. After his mother shared this sad experience on Facebook, thanks, Mom.
Oh, God.
Asking other parents to teach your kids kindness, many people were inspired to help, including actor Paul Rudd. After this story was shared in the news, he was the beneficiary of another special message, this time from Rudd. He sent a letter that said, "It's important to remember that even when life is tough, that things get better. There are so many people that love you and think you're the coolest kid there is." I don't think so. Or they would have signed his fucking yearbook. Can't wait to see all the amazing things you're going to accomplish. The Ant-Man star then came and had a FaceTime call with him, and he sent him an Ant-Man helmet that read, "To my good friend Brody, for when he takes on the world." Something tells me this isn't the kid's first helmet. Is the obvious burning question is this kid an asshole? Why didn't anybody sign his yearbook? It's not that big of an ask.
I also love that immediately the bullies all beat the shit out of Paul Rudd.
Should beat the shit out of his mom for embarrassing him on Facebook.
Yeah. I mean, his dad just stayed clear of the whole thing. His dad knows how things work.
Yeah.
The mom thing, what are you doing?
Yeah.
on social media for everyone to see.
Right.
The good news is this kid won't be able to buy a gun, I think, if they check the social media.
Right.
2 people, loner in high school, overbearing mom who shamed him on public, social media. No
Right.
gun for you.
Yep. Nobody likes him.
Yeah.
Let's go down to. All right. We said we would talk.
Yeah.
We said we'd talk about it last week. There was a penalty imposed on anybody who did not watch the George Carlin video documentary by Judd Apatow. So you and I both watched it. Your thoughts?
I thought it's an extraordinary documentary. It was so well done. I've seen I think I've seen Apatow. Apatow's done another
He's done a
Shanley.
lot of documentaries.
Right.
The Avery Brothers, the New York Mets.
This is by far his best one.
Yeah.
And what's the Avery Brothers one?
He did a documentary on the Avery Brothers.
Who are they?
They're in a band, Americana band.
Oh, the Avet?
Oh, maybe that's what they're called, the Avett Brothers.
And I'm probably not pronouncing it right. But yeah, all right. I should check that out. This is the best one I've seen. It was really, really well done documentary. The transitions, all of it was great production value, all that. And it's one of those documentaries that's not only a great documentary, but the subject matter is unbelievable. And part 2 I like better than part 1. You?
I agree with you. I love it. I think that it's up there with his Shandling one. I didn't love the ending. Where I'm not going to give away the ending for people, but I didn't. I thought it was a little too. Whatever. I don't want this to be a spoiler, but
I think we can talk about it. Well, clue me in. I don't know what you're talking about.
Well, he's showing all like the January 6th stuff, and it was a lot of stuff that happened after George's death. That was, I mean, I get what he was going for. Like he was George had foreshadowed that a lot of this stuff would happen, but I love the access that Judd got. He fucking did the legwork, and I mean, there's like footage from every Tonight Show that he ever did. He had home movies. He had radio clips. He had interviews with local news. It was incredible. I mean, when you saw the page where he had to list the archive of where he got the footage, it went on and on and on. It was incredible.
Did you remember my old boss, Chris Spencer at HBO from New Zealand?
Right.
I mean, guy kind of like gave me my break and all that stuff. Chris is in it. And that was very cool of Judd to keep him in there because Judd used so much of his footage. Chris directed. I remember I couldn't go that day. I worked at HBO and they're like, we're going up to the Heights to walk around George's childhood neighborhood with him and interview him. I'm like, what? And I was down like editing on 23rd Street or something. And then they went to a studio and all that beautiful black and white footage with a white background with George, which they used in part 1 and 2. And in part 1, I would see the slate when they were walking around, Upper Manhattan, and I'd see Spencer's name on it. Anyway, very cool of Judd to put, you see George and Chris talking, and that didn't need to be in there. I think that was a nice little shout out because you used so much of Chris's footage, which is technically HBO's footage. But anyway, I liked that they showed the things, but I think showing January 6th went too far because George didn't talk specifically about that, but he talked specifically about abortion. So I liked when they showed how sort of ahead of his time he was being outraged at some things and about, corporate ownership of us and the illusion of choice and consumerism. He was just so on it in terms of those issues. And a lot of people like Colbert detracted him for maybe it's not funny. But at that point, like if it's interesting, I excuse a lot of comedians if they're interesting. I don't really care if they're funny at times. No,
yeah, I disagree.
Especially if I know they're funny.
That last special was not funny at all. And it was angry and it was unmoored. I thought it was unwatchable. And
wow.
I think he got to a point in his life where he was so enraged and he had so given up on the species, in his own words. He hated the species, and I think that he wasn't accessing any distance from it to make it funny. So I'm glad that Judd showed that pretty bald faced. He showed footage that was just not funny of him at the end, and his face was bloated because he was on medications because of his illness, and yeah.
But now wait a minute.
With,
but the last special actually wasn't the one you're talking about.
was that the second to last? Yeah.
Yeah, because the one you're talking about, fittingly, had a graveyard setting.
Right.
And it was the death of humans, I believe, but and maybe it wasn't that, but I mean that's how I'm looking at it, and he probably explained it at one point. But I don't know. I guess I'm more forgiving when I'm watching. He's a true artist, so I'm watching an artist and I don't have to like every period, but I can also still really appreciate it. You know what I mean? Like, I just remember like, wow, it's like an album going really dark or like when Neil Young tries something crazy electric, at that, when electronic music started, and like, yeah, I will not listen to this one again, but I kind of can respect it.
Yeah. I don't know if I feel that way about comedy, but
That's interesting.
But I liked seeing that, like, he'd get knocked down and he was, look, comedy used to get reviewed a lot. You put out a special or an album and then everybody reviewed it. They don't really do that anymore. And he got some bad reviews over the years because he had times where people felt that he was becoming a caricature of himself, of the guy that talked about small things and ad nauseum, and it just became like kind of like too much of a hook, and he got shit for it. And then you saw him dig in and go, fuck them all, and then he would go deeper and he would get he would just get better every time. It was amazing.
I just remembered I recorded something. It's literally 18 seconds, but I was like, I'm never going to remember the way he phrased it. This was him in a club trying stuff out. So I mentioned his last special where he looked old, I think, and meanwhile I think he was 70, but he looked much older than that. But he was talking about old things, like, and people will carry shit for you. Like, it seemed like he got back to comedy. You know what I mean? That's for his last. But anyway, I think this was him because he's really old in this clip. And he talks about, he goes, I'm not trying stuff out. Do you remember this? He goes, I'm not trying stuff out. He goes, I want you to know that I don't do that, like, on you. All right, here it is. Hopefully, let's see if you can hear it. And we're going now. You fucking, hold on. What is it playing in? Here we go. Sorry about that. Here we go.
I'm trying this stuff out on you. I'm not trying it out. I don't do that. The audience doesn't really figure into my plans. Here's the way I look at it. I'm here for me, you're here for me, and no one's here for you.
Could you hear that?
That's great. I'm here for me, you're here for me, no one's here for you. That's awesome.
Such an amazing way to look at it.
Yeah. Now, I think one of the things that you get trapped in as a comedian is obviously caring too much what the audience thinks about you. And that was something that he was always shedding and shaking. And I think Shandling was another guy that did that as well, is tried to free himself from the control of acceptance from the audience. And as he did that, he would go to deeper places. And
that's the
it's a
artist
reminder
struggle
for every comedian. Don't give a shit what the audience is thinking about you.
Every artist. Are you kidding me? How to follow whatever true north setting you have inside you.
Right.
It's brutal because, I mean, walking that line, it's like, well, I have to make a living, so, and is that a sellout?
Right.
Like, it's such a hard line to walk. Luckily, I've never struggled with that. I've just been a soulless sellout my whole life. So I told you, so a lot of writers and a lot of people in Hollywood, you create a loan out company, corporation. So it's literally an S corporation and you're a sole proprietor. So you have to name it, right? So I named mine. My first one was New Boots Inc. And New Boots was a Clash lyric. And what it did was remind me, it was on purpose to remind me to never sell out, like to just really do what I thought was funny and everything. And like the second checks I put in there were for the biggest piece of shit project ever. Like immediately.
Yeah.
It immediately, I just pictured Joe Strummer like, oh, you fucking really?
Yeah,
the second project is a piece of shit you did for the money?
Right. I know. No, when I used to do the warm-up on the Ellen DeGeneres Show and a guest would come on who, like, Spade came on one time, and I just remember fucking telling the audience to clap and dance during the commercial and just him looking at me like, what happened to you?
Oh, please, Spade.
And I was just like, I had a kid, man. Had a fucking kid.
All right, everybody. Big clap as Spade's promoting Grown Ups 2. Spade would be the first to take the piss out of himself about selling out.
I picked that name out of a hat. There was not an incident with Spade. Spade is the coolest guy in the world.
I was trying to
think of somebody I respect. That's all. That's the only reason I picked his name out.
Ellen. How about Ellen's right there?
Right.
All right. So last night, getting back to Atlanta. Atlanta, it has the quality of Fargo where it is not trying to be funny and it is so genuinely interesting and funny at times. And you're just watching a show made by an artist.
It's art.
That's it.
It's pure art.
It's art. So get this. I'm watching it last night. I fall asleep. I'm watching it on Hulu. I fall asleep. I wake up, and I'm not making this up. I don't know how long I was out for, and Blackish was on. And talk about two ends of a spectrum. You fall asleep to this work of art, and let's face it, about African Americans, it's African American stories, and you wake up to a piece of shit, which is pandering so hard to the audience. I was rattled. I was like, wow, is this a joke? And did Anthony Anderson, what overacting school did he go to exactly? It was so glaring, the difference between the two. And I had slept in between, and it was still jarring. Anyway, interesting night.
I don't know that I've really seen Blackish enough to judge it. The few scenes I have seen actually were kind of meaningful and good. So I'll watch a couple episodes because I've only heard good things about it.
I mean, listen, I can remember the one I woke up to. So I go to sleep, I fall asleep, and no fault of Atlanta. It was late to Atlanta, and then I wake up to Anthony Anderson walking in on his kid masturbating. So I don't think this was one of the meaningful ones. I have heard Blackish has a lot of meaningful ones, but this was so over the top. It was crazy.
Yeah.
With every easy joke ever.
Yeah.
And it just reminded me of my dumb sitcom where, you find a way. You need 3 jokes a page. Like, what are you doing? It's a multicam. It's like, that's not what the pilot was.
Right. Well, somebody suggests there's another documentary that we need to watch. This is, I don't know who wrote this. Sweet, Pray, and Obey is absolutely one of the best I've ever seen. It's about the fundamentalist Mormon
people are
cult
talking about
in Utah and Arizona. So let's watch that.
People are talking about it. All right, should we have a penalty next week?
Penalty of $50 if you don't watch Sweet. You have to watch at least 3 episodes.
All right.
By next week.
How many do we do? 3. Okay.
It's probably, I don't know how many there are. It's just a documentary. It's not a series.
It might be a documentary
Chris Denman,
series.
will you look that up? If it's a
it's
documentary,
misogynistic. I'll watch 4. I love misogynistic stuff, obviously.
You watch that with Two Broke Girls as a follow-up.
Yeah, there we go. Make America Florida. You ready? Here we go. This was sent in. maybe while I'm looking it up, while I talk about it now, you can find the person who sent it in to us. It was an email. I got it, actually. Hold on. Right here. Ba-doo-ba-doo-doo. Where are you? Here we go. And nope, that's the giant eating snails. We talked about this earlier. How about the giant eating snails in Florida? Maybe we'll do that next week. This was sent in by Toby Lester.
Toby Lester
sent this in. I thought it was fake for sure. It has fake written all over it. It supposedly was published in the Florida Times Union on July 2nd. It's an obituary, but I looked it up and it appears to be real. Like, I found another news outlet who interviewed the guy who posted it. So this is an obituary. I'm just going to read it. Here we go.
Oh, so that documentary, by the way, is 4 episodes in a season. So let's say you got to watch at least 2 by next week.
If it's women hating, it's going to be tough to stop at 2, but I'll do my best. All right. Lawrence H. Pfaff Sr. was born in Belmont, New York on April 16th, 1941. He passed away on June 27th, 2022, living a long life, much longer than he deserved. He is survived by his 3 children. No, 4. Oops. 5 children. Well, as of 2022, we believe there is one more that we know about, but there could be more. His love was abundant when it came to himself, but for his children, it was limited. From a young age, he was a ladies' man and an abusive alcoholic, solidifying his commitment to both with the path of destruction he left behind, damaging his adult children and leaving them broken.
Was this like an obit that was published in the newspaper?
It was an obituary published in the obituary column of the Florida Times Union.
Okay.
Lawrence Sr.'s hobbies including abusing his first wife and children.
Oh, whoa.
He loved to start projects but never followed through on any of them. He enjoyed the life of a barfly for many years and had a quaint little living space studio above his favorite hole in the wall, the Club Nashville. Lawrence Sr. did spend over 20 years in the NYPD, but even his time in service was negligent at best. Because of his alcohol addiction, his commanding officer took away his gun and badge, replacing them with a broom until he could get his act together. Lawrence Sr. did claim to be clean and sober for over 30 years, but never worked any of the 12 steps, including the 8th and 9th steps with his children, making amends. He possesses no redeeming qualities for his children, including the ones he knew and the, quote, ones he knew about, end quote. It will be challenging to miss Lawrence Sr. because he was narcissistic. He was incapable of love. Lawrence Sr.'s passing proves that evil does eventually die, and it marks a time of healing, which will allow his children to get the closure they deserve. Lawrence Sr. can be remembered for being a father to many and a dad to none.
Damn.
So I read the interview they did with him, and he hesitated doing this, but after he wrote it, he said it was so healing and he felt better about it, and so he went forward with publishing it.
I'd like to do a obituary now for Brule Fitzsimmons. He was a rageaholic.
Yes.
Who had a drinking problem, well, I should say a peeing problem on the rug. Never a fan of other dogs. He often engaged in fights on the street and would bite animals as well as people. He shook, he whined, he demanded, but he will be loved forever by the Fitzsimmons family. Rest in peace, Brule.
Of which he proudly never considered himself a member of.
He protected us. Well, whatever. I don't want to talk about Brule anymore. Here's the story about the Giants.
Yeah,
you want to do it next week?
He protected you from sleep. He protected you from buying new furniture.
Yeah.
He protected you from so many things like that.
Yeah.
He didn't protect you from lawsuits.
Nope. We paid out a $20,000 lawsuit when he bit somebody.
Was it 20? No.
$20,000.
Oh,
and we still didn't put him to sleep.
How I would have, putting to sleep is too gentle a term. I would have snuffed him out. I would have grabbed his mouth and put my thumbs in his nose and watched the life go out of him.
Yeah.
I would have made him look at the check before I sent it.
He was cute, though. He's a beautiful dog. Let's go to sports.
You got it, pal. All right, wait. Before we go into this story, did you watch that 5-set Nadal match?
Oh, yeah. Unbelievable.
What a warrior. Oh, my God.
What a fucking warrior. And he just, he's just so beautiful to watch because at his age, he's 36 years old, he still chases down every goddamn ball. And even if he doesn't win that point, he's sending a message to the guy on the other side that he's not getting away with shit.
He had to find... He has such an abdominal injury. This is what happened to anyone that doesn't follow it. But I mean, in terms of just this legendary athlete, arguably the best ever. He, in the quarterfinals, he was against a young American, like 24-year-old guy, Fritz, and who's the rising star for America for sure. 6'4", best serve, one of the best serves in tennis. Anyway. Nadal went toe-to-toe with this guy while having this crazy abdominal injury, which he beats Fritz in 5 sets, and then he has to drop...
4.5-hour match.
And has to drop out of the tournament because the injury is so bad. Now, during the match with Fritz, the injury was so bad, he had to find a new way to serve. So none of it, I think very few of his serves broke 100 miles an hour.
Oh, no, he was serving like 85 miles an hour. Yeah.
Against one of the best players in the world, obviously. Yeah. They're in the quarterfinals of Wimbledon, right. And still beat him.
Yeah.
He's just incredible. Sheer will, yeah.
Yeah, and now the finals will be, well, by the time you listen to this, the finals will be going on, and it's going to be Kyrgios and...
Djokovic?
And Djokovic. And Djokovic is like, I watched his match yesterday against Norrie, the British guy, and I mean, he just is basically, you need to play your best game. If you have a weakness, you will lose against Djokovic. He does not have a weak part of his game.
Right.
Everything is strong.
Well, this other guy's opponent is younger and all that, and
yeah, but he's a hothead. He's crazy. You don't know which guy's going to show up to the match.
I like that. I'm going to watch.
You want to put money on it?
No. Well, what are the odds? I mean, do we get odds? Who's the favorite?
What do you mean odds? Fucking odds. Bet like a man.
God. If it's even, I'll bet you.
Let's say it's even.
All right, fine. $20?
$20.
I want Djokovic to lose.
Okay. I hate that I'm betting for Djokovic because I don't like him anymore.
You're anti-vaccine, so this aligns with your belief system. Sports. In an exclusive interview with the Daily Australian, the Australian's World... What the fuck? You put this in here. I can't read it.
I put this in... Oh, yeah. In an exclusive interview with the Daily Oz, Australian world number 98, Daria Saviller, revealed that she has opted to skip her period because of the pure white dress code at Wimbledon. Great Britain's Heather Watson has also spoken publicly about this. Quote, I'll probably go on the pill just to skip my period for Wimbledon. That's the thought process and conversation that girls have about it. Look, let me tell you something, ladies. There's nothing more baller than walking out onto center court with what looks like a gunshot wound in your crotch. Scream on every shot, throw tantrums. That's a 6-0-6-0 right there.
Ladies, there's an easier way. Put a baby in there. Get knocked up before Wimbledon. Duh, it's right in front of you. Stop that crazy, disgusting bleeding. By the way, Djokovic almost didn't play Wimbledon because he refused to take the pill before going.
Yeah, right.
He doesn't want any of those foreign science substances in his body.
Let's go on to another anti-vaxxer, Elon Musk, in the science section.
Is he anti-vax?
I would guess.
Journalist. I have no idea.
Denman, why don't you look that up for us?
I know he was anti-shutdown
Yeah,
because he's a businessman.
right.
Well, of course he doesn't want his employees being protected. He wants them protected, but he doesn't want them to miss work.
Well, some of them are not using protection at all, apparently, because he quietly had twins with one of his top executives weeks before he welcomed a child with Grimes. Grimes is his wife.
Elon.
Via surrogate. Court documents have revealed in November, the executive 51 reportedly had twins with Siobhan Zilis, 36, the director of operations at Musk's brain-machine interface company Neuralink. He now has 9 known children. Zilis studied economics and philosophy at Yale, where she also played goalie on the women's ice hockey team.
Wow.
Well, it looks like she let one between the pads recently. In 2015, Zilis was on Forbes' 30 under 30 list in the venture capital category, and she got to use her AI expertise at Tesla. She is currently the director of operations and special projects. I mean, she's a big fucking deal.
No, listen, she was on the 30 under 30, and then she was the one under Elon.
I can't
Elon.
believe. I mean, I just can't believe this guy. He has 9 kids. I'm sure a guy who runs 3 companies has Asperger's. Yeah, I'm sure he's a competent dad for 9 children. Dad, will you be at my birthday at Chuck E. Cheese? I'm not sure, son. I've got a crew of 11 breaking through the atmosphere at 5 o'clock. I'm being sued by 31 pregnant women, and I have to do Joe Rogan's podcast at 6. What's your name again?
Also, I forgot how to pronounce your name. Sorry about that.
This guy abandoned Twitter. You think he won't abandon these 9 kids?
The names of the new kids will be Bob and Frank, just to further fuck up his other kid whose name is a bunch of symbols no one can pronounce.
Oh, yeah. What is that kid's name?
It's named after a plane, Elon's favorite plane.
Oh, God.
X, it has an X in it, XY something or other. It's impossible. No one knows how to pronounce it,
So
except
Denman
Elon.
Denman dug this up. Elon Musk says he and his family are vaccinated, but that mandates for the masses are an erosion of freedom.
Yeah, they're an erosion of disease also.
Yeah. Here's something that I believe in so much that here's something I don't believe in so much that I get it for myself, but then tell other people not to do.
Yeah. So also, she's going to turn down this job of running Twitter because it's a pay cut from being the mom of 2 of Elon Musk's children.
Yeah, exactly.
Just stay at home with them. The checks will roll in. By the way, Elon's supposed to be the smartest man in the world. Wouldn't this have been easy to spin that this was another surrogate? Like what? It happened at the same time as the surrogate gave birth for his wife?
Wait, his wife used a surrogate?
Yeah, that's what you read. You should listen when you read.
I don't.
Look, he quietly had twins with one of his top executives weeks before he welcomed a child with Grimes via surrogate. Hello? 2 surrogates, 3 kids.
Jesus.
Why not? I mean, you couldn't pay off people to go along with that story? Maybe he doesn't care.
No, I think he's just a narcissist, and I do think he's Asperger's-y. I don't think any of this stuff registers with him.
All right, here's the kid's name. He told, it was on the podcast, that the kid's name is pronounced X-A12. It is X, and then that's the Greek A-E.
Alpha,
yeah.
Epsilon.
And then A-12. So that is so outrageous, he actually won't get teased at school. They will think he's probably a robot.
That's
AI.
a tattoo. That's not somebody's name.
X-A12. How do you even scream that when you're angry at the kid? Get in here.
This day in history. 1985, July 10th, a bomb sinks the Rainbow Warrior, Greenpeace's flagship vessel in Auckland Harbour, New Zealand. Greenpeace's Rainbow Warrior, after French agents in diving gear plant a bomb on the hull of the vessel. One person, a Dutch photographer, was killed. They'd been preparing to protest a French nuclear test site in the South Pacific. 2 days after the incident, French authorities denied responsibility in the bombing and continued to do so even after the New Zealand police arrested 2 French Secret Service agents in Auckland. Under pressure from New Zealand authorities, the French government formed an inquiry to investigate the incident, and after several weeks concluded that the French agents were merely spying on Greenpeace. Later in the year, however, a British newspaper uncovered evidence of French President François Mitterrand's authorization of the bombing plan, leading to several top-level resignations in Mitterrand's cabinet and an admission by French Prime Minister Laurent Fabius that the agents had sunk the vessel under orders. I think Ellen also fired somebody because of it. In Auckland, the 2 agents pleaded guilty to lesser charges of manslaughter and willful damage and were each sentenced to 10 years in prison. Following negotiations with the French government, New Zealand released them a year later. Wow. In 1992, Mitterrand ordered a halt to French nuclear testing, but in 1995 it was resumed, and Greenpeace sent the Rainbow Warrior 2 to French Polynesia to protest and disrupt the tests. You know, my brother worked for Greenpeace for years.
I know.
Brother Bobby.
No, I know. I could smell his body odor at the time.
Oh, yeah. Why is it the people with the worst body odor are the ones that show up to your house ringing your doorbell on Sunday morning?
Because I don't want to put aluminum up there and stop it, or over shower.
Yeah. I do not remember this. Do you remember this incident?
I do not remember this, but it looks like France got away with it.
The agent spent a year in jail for fucking killing somebody.
But also, why the focus on the 2 guys ordered to do it? What about it's so
Mitterrand?
crazy. And wait, this was 1985. Keep in mind, Mitterrand spoke at our graduation 4 years later.
That's right.
Boston University.
Our graduation, we had the then sitting president, George Bush, the older George Bush.
Yep.
And the sitting president of France, Francois Mitterrand. And you wonder whether the president of BU had deep ties. He is deep state. He ran the CIA in Central America.
Dukakis was also there, like in the building, but it was the first time 2 heads of state were ever at a graduation ceremony, I think.
I just remember having to wake up at fucking 6 in the morning because we had to be there extra early for security to get in. Do you remember that?
Yes, and it was such a hot day.
Yeah.
It was, and I remember they limited us to 4 tickets, and my dumb joke at the time was, that's not even enough for my parents.
We had a boat. Were you part of that boat trip the night before?
Oh, of course.
Yeah, so there was like
I have
10
very
of
few
us.
memories of that, though, but
There were like 10 of us, and we got together, and we got some money, and we rented a boat. Thank God it wasn't the Rainbow Warrior. And we got our favorite blues band, Chuck and Helen, the Candles, and they played on deck. Was it Chuck and Helen, or was it another band?
I think
it was Chuck
I was
and
one
Helen.
of the organizers of
we
this.
saw this band every Thursday night for years at a place called Great Scots, and they played on deck, and we had like 200 people on a boat, all our best friends, and it was the night before graduation, and we just cruised around Boston Harbor. I got pictures, Mike. I'll show you the pictures.
I'd like you. I think I had to choose things, whether to bring my mom or my dad. I think maybe my mom was on that. I don't know, but boy, what a great thing to do.
Yeah, that was amazing. And,
I mean, for the families, listen, you kind of aren't that into it. You're going, like we're going to be going to college graduations before long, and it's like it's an obligation. Imagine how cool your kids are that you have a booze cruise with an amazing band around like a harbor and get to see Boston that way.
Yeah. And
God,
then,
we really peaked early.
We certainly did. And then the cover of the Boston Herald the next day was a shot of me, Dudley, Pete, and I think Ted Fine at the It was an aerial shot of us in the crowd at the graduation.
Wow.
Yeah. I'm going to post that in the episode.
Remember we had to go to 2 graduations?
Oh, that's right. Then you had to go to your own college within the university.
Exactly. We had the big one in the stadium with everybody, and then you had to go to we went to the School of Communications. Were you there?
No, I was liberal arts. I actually had got a real education.
Oh, that is true. I told you, so BU at a few years earlier was with Syracuse one of the two best communications programs in the country. And then cut to my senior year, my journalism professor is a writer at the Boston Globe and apologized to us that we were taking in 1989 a journalism final on a typewriter.
Yeah.
While every journalism school in America had computers.
Yeah.
Or at least word processors.
I think Howard Stern donated a shitload of money, and they refused to put his name on a building. He got very upset.
Wait, who?
Howard Stern. He went to the School of Communications.
Right. Yep.
All right, let's get to it. We asked you guys last week. We talked about, we finished up our segment of first songs on first albums. You guys reached out, a lot of great suggestions. Please don't send any more. We're done with that. And we have now moved on to cover versions of songs that were better than the original. So, starting off with Malay Kanaya said, I Love Rock and Roll off the album I Love Rock and Roll by Joan Jett and the Blackhearts is a cover of the original done by the Arrows. I haven't heard the original, but that is definitely her. She only had 2 big songs, right?
Maybe 3, but
3.
okay.
John Patton said, I think the song Cocaine is a good one made famous by Eric Clapton, but J.J. Cale made the original.
Yeah.
Richard McCabe said Johnny Cash cover of Hurt was better. Originally it was 9 Inch Nails. And Trent Reznor said, I popped the video in and wow, tears welling, silence, goosebumps. Wow. I felt like I lost my girlfriend because that song isn't mine anymore.
Yeah, keep reading.
It really made me think about how powerful music is as a medium and art form. I wrote some words and music in my bedroom as a way of staying sane about a bleak and desperate place I was in, totally isolated and alone. Somehow that winds up reinterpreted by a music legend from a radically different era genre and still retains sincerity and meaning. Different, but every bit as pure.
That's perfectly stated.
Yeah. Grand Mr. D has a bunch of them. Don't Leave Me This Way by Thelma Houston, originally Harold Melvin and the Blue Notes. The Harold Melvin and the Blue Notes version is fucking amazing. That being said, Thelma Houston did it as a disco song, and it was fantastic as well. I don't know that one is better than the other. Proud Mary, originally by Creedence. Ike and Tina Turner, definitely take it to a new level, especially if you see them do it live.
Oh, it's incredible.
Respect by Aretha Franklin, originally by Otis Redding. Yes, that was an upgrade.
Otis would tell you the same thing.
I Fought the Law by The Clash, originally the Bobby Fuller Ford. Did you know that?
Of course. And The Clash also on London Calling, a brand new Cadillac. And then there's another one they did also, which is incredible. Oh, wait. You have I Fought the Law. Oh, 2 down below. Sorry, there's another one. We'll get to it.
Police and Thieves by The Clash, originally by Junior Mervin.
Yeah.
Tainted Love by Soft Cell, originally by Gloria Jones. Red Red Wine by UB40. Remember that one? Originally by Neil Diamond. I heard Neil Diamond do it, and I thought he was covering it. Wow. Okay. Take Me to the River by the Talking Heads, originally Al Green. That's a tough one because, I mean, Al Green doing that song is fucking phenomenal.
I agree.
But then the Talking Heads do it. They do it in a totally different way. Both.
Well,
great.
they have that brink, brink. They have that little thing they do with the. It just. There's a lot of interesting choices in the Talking Heads one, and I love it.
Twist and Shout by the Beatles, originally the Isley Brothers.
Yep.
And then Rick says Blinded by the Light by Springsteen, but Manfred Mann's cover went to number 1. Fuck Manfred Mann. Fuck that cover. Springsteen's it's so much better.
It's like the Byrds with Dylan. You know, they did a ton of Dylan and anyway, yeah.
Broken Ankle says Higher Ground, originally by Stevie Wonder. Then the Chili Peppers did it. Both phenomenal.
Yeah.
Lawrence Tarpey, he says, I Can't Get No Satisfaction by Devo, originally by the Rolling Stones. I'm
Yeah.
sorry. Sorry, Lawrence. I love you, but no.
I didn't know Hall & Oates did Every Time You Go Away. I didn't know that was theirs.
Brian G says it was originally by Paul Young, and then Hall & Oates did it. All right, we'll do some more next week. That's enough to wrap your heads around for now.
No, it's the opposite. Paul Young covered Hall & Oates.
Oh, okay.
Wait, Grand Funk Railroad, Some Kind of Wonderful is amazing.
Yeah.
And then The Tide is High. Blondie covered that. All right. There's way more than this. There's other really big ones.
We got a letter from Renee who wants us to give Emmett a shout out. His birthday is July 11th. He has done some artwork for us in the past, and they're obsessed with the show. So happy birthday to you, my friend.
Yeah, Emmett, happy birthday, man.
Let's take it down now.
Oh.
Obituaries.
And that's all, folks.
This was a tough one. James Caan. One of my absolute personal heroes. Love James Caan. Even though, I don't know, he seems like a guy that I'm surprised wasn't Me Too'd just based on his personality.
Oh.
You know?
Yeah. Most of your heroes are Me Too'able for sure.
Yeah, I would think so. But obviously,
Dickie from Rosie's Bagel said it's not going to work now. But he goes, he's like, James Caan died. Like, the second he died, like he texted me, he's like, ironically, he was riddled with bullets at a toll booth.
So he was 82. Obviously, he played Sonny Corleone in The Godfather. By the way, not Italian. James Caan was Irish.
Huh.
He was also known for Elf. He was fucking amazing in Elf. He was amazing in Misery. And what was the one where he was a safecracker? I think it was called Thief.
Maybe.
You ever see
when
that
I first saw him in Elf, I was like, this isn't going to work.
Yeah.
I got vibes that he was like what I heard Burt Reynolds was like with Boogie Nights. Like, what the fuck is this? He's like, this isn't, he was difficult. He thought it was way beneath him. That I'm not saying at all that's what James Caan was like in it. And it turns out that was his character, and he worked great in Elf.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He, big testosterone guy. He drove motorcycles, karate. He did rodeo.
He practically lived at the Playboy Mansion.
Yeah. And he goes, hookers? Well, I never paid for them, I just gave them all the cocaine they wanted.
Oh my God, I didn't even see you put that line in there about the play. I read the line about I stepped on it. I know him as just always at the mansion.
He says, to get over my divorce, I got a prescription to live at the Playboy Mansion for a while.
That's so funny. I didn't know he literally lived there. Yep.
He had a big feud with John Wayne, I guess.
I'm on his side then. I hate John Wayne.
I fuck John Wayne. So
what was his feud with John Wayne?
I don't know.
Did he call John Wayne gay? That's my feud.
Oh, maybe. Was John Wayne gay?
No, I'm joking. Yeah, according to me, yes.
Oh.
No, of course it wasn't that, but I wonder what the feud was.
He says, I really do wish I had an Academy Award. But listen, here's what you got to know. Number one, anybody who gets cancer in a movie automatically wins the Academy Award that year. Number two, I sound like I'm bitter, and I am.
Well, that bitterness can lead to cancer. Maybe that was his plan.
Dude, he should have got an Oscar for Godfather, for sure.
No, but didn't what's-his-name get the Oscar as the consigliere?
Al Pacino?
No. It would be
Marlon
supporting
Brando?
actor. It would be supporting. Chris, can you look up what?
What's his name?
Godfather was what? 71. 2, 1 and 3, or 2 and 4. It was one of those.
I think
pairs.
he was in 1, and then I think he was in a flashback in 2.
No, but I'm saying 71, and then Godfather 2 was 73, or it's 72 and 74. But let's look up.
Is it Willem Dafoe? No, not Willem.
That's
Dafoe.
who. No.
What's his name?
Yeah, obviously old guy now, but Tender Mercies and all that stuff. One of the greatest actors ever. Network.
It's so funny that some people have names that everybody forgets.
Yeah. Yeah, part 1 was 1972. Okay, and who won the Academy Awards that year? Actor and supporting actor. What did Godfather win is, I guess, the question. Or who beat them? All right, as we wait for that, I'm going to remember his name, and it is, come on, Tender Mercies. It's the great Santini. How weird I can remember all these other things. I get panicked about the name I'm trying to remember. Everyone's going fucking crazy listening to this. I'm going to look it up. Did he just write it in? Not Gene Hackman. Oh, good Lord. I'm
looking at the cast list and they don't have him listed.
What are you talking about?
Weird.
It won it in 73, of course. Let's see. All right, I'm going.
Oh, Robert Duvall.
Yes.
Robert Duvall.
I have a blank against that name, man. I don't know what it is. All right, I'm looking this shit up quickly. Thanks for staying with us. Very close to impossible to listen to this conversation, quite honestly.
I'm going to start the cartoons, the funnies.
Okay, here we go. I got it.
All right.
Marlon Brando wins, of course. Gene Hackman won the year before, by the way, for a French Connection in 71. 72, Marlon Brando beat out Michael Caine. Listen to this list of actors. Brando beat out Michael Caine, Laurence Olivier, Peter O'Toole, and Paul Winfield.
Damn.
Holy shit.
72, 73 were crazy years. Do you know the albums that came out in 1973? Well, I'll look it up for next week. But somebody just sent me a link for the albums, the top albums of 1973. It'll blow your fucking mind.
All right, hold on. I just have to. I'm sorry. 1973, Jack Lemmon wins for Save the Tiger. He beats Marlon Brando, Last Tango in Paris, Jack Nicholson, The Last Detail, Al Pacino, Serpico, Robert Redford, The Sting. What? 74, Art Carney wins for Harry and Tonto. Albert Finney, Murder on the Orient Express. Dustin Hoffman, Lenny. Jack Nicholson, Chinatown. Al Pacino, The Godfather Part 2. Listen to these nominees.
How about music albums in 1973? Dark Side of the Moon, Houses of the Holy, Goodbye Yellow Brick Road, which is Elton John's best album. Quadrophenia from The Who. Goat's Head Soup from the Stones. Let's Get It On, Marvin Gaye.
This isn't just because we're old. These have stood the test of time.
Greetings
oh my
from
God.
Asbury Park and Wild the Innocent and the East Street Shuffle both came out in 73.
Oh, I know another reason James Caan is bitter about not winning the Oscar. Joel Grey won it for Cabaret.
Oh, Jesus.
In 72. Eddie Albert, The Heartbreak Kid, James Caan. This is another reason he lost. Of course, they all lost. In 1972, this is the last thing we'll talk about. Best Supporting Actor category. 5 nominees. 3 of them from The Godfather.
Oh, so they split the vote.
Caan, Duvall, Pacino. So they split the vote.
Right. All right, let's do the funnies.
And then De Niro won it
here
in
they are, the
74.
Lockhorns, and here is Loretta. She's putting her coat on. Leroy is got his belt. He's trying to put his belt on, and she goes, "It is possible for pants to shrink, Leroy. but I don't think a belt can.
That's great.
Next one, he's walking in from outside. He's sweating. Loretta opens the door for him, and he goes, I fought the lawn, and the lawn won. I thought you'd appreciate that one.
Look at that. And we just talked about that.
Yep. Hagar the Horrible. We got his friend, the dopey guy. And so he walks over to a girl, and he says, we've only just met tonight, but may I be honest with you? And she says, you may. He says, I've never met a woman who totally captured my heart so quickly. I'd follow you to the ends of the earth. And then she says, it was nice to meet you. I'm going to go now. And he says, goodbye for now. And then as she leaves, Hagar says, did you really mean all that about following her to the ends of the earth? And he says, of course. And Hagar goes, you better hurry. She's got a running start.
Typical rapist thing to say.
I mean, are you kidding me? Like, they don't speak in metaphors in the 11th century. When they say he's going to follow you, he's going to fucking follow you.
A little self-awareness on my side. So Sophie is here, so she's out in the living room, so she's only hearing my side of the conversation.
Yeah.
She just hears silence, 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 and then I say, typical rapist thing to say. So she has to assume I'm talking about you. Okay, here goes the dark world of Charles Adams. This one is great. The wife is on the phone and on the phone she goes, nothing much, Agnes. What's new with you? And here's the picture. Let me make sure I get it in frame here. And she's on the phone holding a revolver, and you see the feet of her dead husband who she just killed. I mean, and what year is this?
Agnes means it was definitely the 1950s. Nobody's been named Agnes since 1951.
Oh, wait, I can look up what year that was. What did you say?
51.
It's January 52.
Wow.
Dude, that's amazing you just said that.
Yeah.
That's a little early for that dark. I mean, he was... I know comedians were doing it, but, he's up there tapping into that dark material.
Well, if you want to talk into darkness, let's talk about Blondie this week. Jesus,
okay.
Mother of God. Every time they show them in bed together,
again.
And he's got a laptop out, and she's reading a book. And it's like, to me, that's like a man sitting in a steakhouse with a porterhouse in front of him and a glass of scotch, and he's playing Wordle on his phone. So he says, boy, you really like those medieval romance novels, he says to her. And she goes, yes, they really tug at your heartstrings. And she goes, in this tale, Sir Kiss-a-Lot drags a 25-pound iron bar for 100 miles just to forge a wedding ring for his true love. And then he says, is this about me forgetting to take out the trash this morning? And she says, no comment. So once again, Blondie is forced to get her needs met on the other side of the bed through literature and I would assume various hardware.
Various hardware?
Dildos and vibrators.
Oh, no. I got it. I like how you show discretion in describing it. And that went out the window.
Look at that outfit she's wearing. Jesus.
Yeah. Pink
with frills. Look at the way the boob hangs on the side a little bit. Just right into the cradle of her elbow. And
it's no sleeves, so you could technically call it a wife beater if she's using those tools that you talk about.
All right, well, listen, folks, you've hung with us again. I know, there's a lot to take in, and I know that a lot of you break off into discussion groups and threads online. You discuss the show. We appreciate that. And we want to once again, happy birthday to JoJo and a fond farewell to Brule. Big day. And thanks to Midcoast Media, Chris and Key and Beth and John, who do a fine job putting the show together for us every week. Anything you want to plug, Mike?
Robert Duvall, that's who it is.
Yeah.
We got it. We got it, everybody. How gratifying was it when we finally got it?
Yeah.
I doubt anyone was able to sit through that. No one's listening now.
We lost everybody during that. That was ridiculous.
Yeah.
So everybody, thanks for listening to the show. Tell your friends, spread the word. Go to Apple Podcasts and leave us comments and reviews and 5 stars. We appreciate that. It helps us out. And
It totally does.
And we'll see you guys next week.
All righty. I think everyone should take it easy.
Take it easy.
Sunday paper with Greg and Mike. Sunday papers, yeah, it's what I like. Say, why don't you come on over here, Blondie? After I throw a move on, no why.